This is the Constitution of the United States. I'm putting this up here because I want to show you guys something, that Congress does not have the authority to pass any firearms law. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our prosperity. We do ordain and establish the Constitution for the United States of America. There's Article 1. Okay. We're going to go down here to Section 8. This tells you what Congress is allowed to do. Congress have the power to lay and collect taxes, duties imposed and exercised to pay debts, provide for the common defense, general welfare of the United States, but all duties, imports, and excise shall be uniform throughout the United States. To borrow money, to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with the Indian tribe, to establish a uniform rule of naturalization, to coin money, to regulate the value, to provide the punishment for counterfeiting securities in current coin, to establish post office and post roads, to promote science and the arts, to constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, to define and punish piracy and felonies committed on the high seas and offenses against the laws of nations, to declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, to make rules concerning capture on land and water, to raise and support armies, to provide for a navy, to make rules for the government and regulations of the land and naval forces, to provide calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, to provide organized army and discipline the militia, to exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district not exceeding 10 miles square as may be, to make laws which are necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers and other powers vested by this Constitution of the United States or any department of the officer thereof. Now, they are vested in those powers. They are not vested in these. They can't mess around with the writ of habeas corpus. It shall not be suspended unless when cases of rebellion, invasion, and public safety may require it. No bill of attainder or ex post facto law shall be passed. Now, what does ex post facto mean? That means you can't make a law retroactive that goes all the way back to Adam and Eve. If you look very closely at their Domestic Violence Act, you'll find out it automatically, whether these people paid the price and went through jail and paid the courts and stuff, and they thought they were, duty-free of everything, and then they passed that domestic violence law that automatically made you a felon all the way back to the days of Adam and Eve. That's retroactive. That's unconstitutional, but they passed it anyway. They don't follow the law, and they want you to follow their so-called firearm laws. You don't have to. No tax or duty should be laid on articles exported from any state. No preference should be given to regulation of commerce or revenue to the ports, so on and so forth. No money should be drawn from the Treasury, but in consequence of appropriation made by law, a regular statement and account of these receipts and expenditures for all money shall be public from time to time. What happened to that money that they were hiding up there in D.C. and Obama took it over and gave it to the Iranians? No title or nobility shall be granted to the United States. No person holding office shall of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of Congress, except any present. Okay. Now, what holds back? We have a limited government, people. A limited government. That's the way it's set up. Now, let's get to the Bill of Rights. Maybe it's not in here. Oh, that's just the Constitution. That's not the Bill of Rights. Okay, let's go back here a second. Let's go here a second. You'll find out in the Bill of Rights, people. The Bill of Rights was set up to limit government, so they weren't allowed to stick their fingers or their hands or their noses or inflict any laws upon you. You know? Congress shall make no laws respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, so on and so forth. Free speech. A well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. These are things that the Congress is not allowed to do. They are constitutionally barred from infringing upon your rights. Get that through your head. The Second Amendment to the United States Constitution ratifies and preserves for every citizen the right to keep and bear arms, and that neither Congress or any other instrument of the federal government can infringe upon that right. They are constitutionally barred. Ask these people where they're getting their authority to pass firearm laws. It's not from the consent. They don't have the authority, people. Never accept the government infringing upon your freedoms as necessary or justified. It's also unconstitutional to legislate a right out of existence. You can't even limit it. And that's what they're trying to do. Got to remember, government itself is limited. Not because these people say, well, we can do this and we can do that. They're taking this power upon themselves. It's not in the Constitution anywhere. Hopefully we'll get down through there. Let's see, that's not it. We want to get to the Bill of Rights. Article 1. This is where they are limited. They are not allowed to mess around with anything that's in the amendments. The framers of the Constitution wanted to make sure that there was no way, shape, or form that these idiots would run amok and start destroying the rights to what the heck we fought for. The freedom of expression of religion, Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for redress. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And it goes on and on and on. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, house, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued. Now, they went way beyond that with the no-knock warrants. That is not a peaceful way to settle things. But they come to your door, they knock on your door, they bust up everything in your house, and they think that they can get away with this. Put them in their place. You can't be tried twice for the same offense, and that's basically what they did with the domestic violence law. You already paid your dues, your firearms were returned or whatever, and bingo, they say, oh no, you can't have firearms anymore. And that happened to my buddy who was a cop. Back in 1980, for 16 years, he could go buy firearms and stuff, and then after he divorced his wife, and he raised his kids himself, and then bingo, they said, oh, you can't do it anymore. You were accused of domestic violence. Well, you know, it never really come to trial. He pleaded no contest and kind of screwed himself because he was under the impression once, you know, you're tried, you don't have to go through this again. But Congress, in their stupid wisdom, decide, well, we're going to do away with that. We're going to lump everybody into this domestic violence that happened at any time, including all the way back to Adam and Eve. And it's against the Constitution. Okay, guys, remember the Constitution Day is September 17th. Thanks for listening, and I hope this woke you up a little bit, that the Congress is constitutionally barred from infringing upon our rights. They don't have the power. They don't have the authority. It wasn't vested into them. They are lying through their teeth. They are bigger than the crooks that are in jail. Thanks for watching.